The Immaterial Games Podcast with these guys.
Meat potato pie sandwich.
That's just still so wrong on many levels.
Look, try it. Trust me.
Look, you've already got the meat and stuff in the pastry. Why do you then need to put that in the sandwich?
It's not the. Okay, what you do, you get the pie, you kind of
Yeah.
break it open and then put it on top. And then the butter and that melts with the pie and the bake, and it's just lovely. Very filling too.
Of course it is. It's about 75% carb.
Cry baby.
That's funny because you're the one going meh 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 meh.
You're the one bitching about meat potato pie sandwich.
Yeah. Anyway, it's disgusting. And with that, let's move on to the beginning of the show. This is the Immaterial Gamers Recurrent User Listening Experience. Sorry, podcast. Wait.
Just
It's
remember,
both.
forget all the rules. That's rule 9. That's rule 100.
Yeah, well, based on the fact that it was an accident to call it the Recurrent User Listening Experience, knowing that the acronym for that is RULE. But the Immaterial
At
Gamers
rule
rule.
100, we'll be telling you to ignore rules 1 to 99.
That's not what we meant by rule.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. So,
And that's what it means by rule. Sorry for
I
the cough.
thought the other way you could put it is the like the Iron Throne kind of rule.
I don't do the Game of Thrones.
Neither do I. And now we're going to get so much backlash because we don't do it.
Yeah, we don't watch Game of Thrones. Come on, have at us. Yeah.
Bring
Thought
it,
not.
No,
bitch.
nothing, Jon Snow.
And you know what? For once, I'm happy with that.
Do you know the only thing I don't know? Well,
Yeah.
the only thing I actually know is Holdar.
Yeah, it's just
That's-
memes. That's all I know is memes.
Yeah.
You know
Hodor.
nothing, Jon Snow and Hodor.
Hodor.
Oh, and winter is coming.
Oh, of course.
You can't forget about that one.
Yeah. So it's just all that. So I'm Ryan, and I'm
Hi,
unhappy.
Ryan.
And that's Steph.
Hi, Steph.
And then we got D.
Hi, D.
This is almost like a Podcasters Anonymous meeting. It's,
I have
Hi.
a serious problem.
yeah.
I do podcasts.
You're also.
How do the 12 steps work for that? Does it start with everyone round a table and they just go, right, before we get this meeting in order, can we all sync up, please? So it's
Not if
just
they're
like,
around one table.
just
not
12
that bad.
people, just like, and then you got the foreman, and it's just like 1, 2, 3, and all of them at the same time. So, yeah, so we bring this Podcasters Anonymous session to order, and I have to start with an announcement.
What did
As
you do?
as people who listen should already know by what's now shown on Mondays, role-playing Nottingham Games is taking a short break due to the death of my Resonance of Fate save. It lasted a ripe old age of 36 weeks and 70 gameplay hours before it decided to suffer from a case of the terminal deleting itself.
Any viewers that want to be who want to know who to thank, send thanks to God and me.
Anyone who wants to know where Steph's address is not going to find out without already knowing who he is and where he's from anyway.
Oh, I meant just put it in the comments.
But, yeah. Basically, that being said, if someone somewhere can send me a file for Chapter 14 of Resonance of Fate with characters at a nice high level, not over the top, somewhere around the 60s, 70s, that's all great. And with every quest completed up to that point, I'd be grateful. I know it's a specific request, but we can do
You
it.
could probably find that,
I tried earlier today, and it's hard to even find a save file for Resonance of Fate, let alone
That far
one with my specific requirements.
Can you get one close to your, say, that stage or whatever?
No,
Yeah,
New
we'll
Game
put
Plus. That's it. So, and even then, it's got encryption on it to the point where it's got the name of the Steam user who's used it. So when you do try and load it up, it'll just say it belongs to another user. Basically, they want me to think that I'm going to go and do 70 hours of it again, and to that I'll say, fuck off. I like the game,
Children
but
listen
not.
to this
But
podcast.
no one listens to this podcast. Don't lie.
That's a lie.
No,
You
no,
know
no,
it's a
no,
lie.
you've got to lie. Steph is a child, pretty much.
You know what? You make a very, very good point. But anyway, yeah. So with that, we've introduced the new show. It came out yesterday. Comes out on tomorrow. Of Going Rogue.
We're going rogue.
That idea that I said of playing roguelike games within a limited number of attempts to it at a certain point. Yeah. Did episode 1. Did the recording of that before we recorded the podcast, and it'll be out on Monday, or has already been out since Monday.
Woo!
It came out
Covering both
yesterday.
bases. Yeah.
If anyone is listening.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow's yesterday. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey.
Tomorrow's tomorrow, and tomorrow is yesterday.
Yeah. Just in case anyone hasn't realised, we record this on a Sunday, and it gets released on a Tuesday. I know I bring that up, but it's the episode 48 reminder. So, you know.
Is this episode 1 again?
No, this save file hasn't deleted, so...
No, I said, is this episode 1 again?
No.
This is now Rule.
No, it's... Right, Rule is the podcast. And the podcast is Rule.
But it only just became Real.
It doesn't matter.
I think everyone lost the game.
It's just lost the plot. It's just as it is. So the other announcement on that is that we're most likely, and you'll see in a minute when we actually get to what's been played, that we may be doing more of a particular video content. In addition to
I love
play
the fact I
sessions.
think it's the only game all of us have played different this week.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering, by the way, for what's been played, if we should all just talk about the game that we've all played.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. So in that
let's
case,
talk about that TFT.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's go to what's been played.
What's being played?
And as Steph was mentioning just before we got there, yeah, TFT, Teamfight Tactics.
From Riot.
Yeah, we've all been playing this pretty much. And for those who don't know what Teamfight Tactics is, it's a new mode on Riot's League of Legends app game.
Well, it's a beta mode at the minute, a beta game on their current launcher.
Yeah, so it's
you have to be on the beta launcher, just regular launcher. I'm quite surprised they've done that, to be honest. Quite surprised they've not just kept it on the beta, seeing that it's still in beta.
Yeah. But that being said, they've wanted to do, as we discussed in the last episode, talking about all the auto chess games, the auto battlers, knowing that other companies were doing it, like Valve, they just, flood the market, because that's how it works. And like I say, we like competition, but I think, of the auto battlers, TFT is probably the one that's closest to all of us due to our original groupings up with League of Legends.
We've come full circle again.
Yeah, we started pretty much with League of Legends. We've come back round to it. Just different games.
If we're going completely around, we'd end up back at Conquer.
Well, if you actually think of it, it's gone really weird, because we've gone from... So, we actually did Summoner's Rift. We kind of drifted off that and ended up on Twisted Tree Line. Because there was mainly only 3 of us online, so we're doing 3-on-3s. Then we just thought, bugger this, we're doing ARAMs. And then nothing happened for quite a long time after ARAM. We kind of died off it completely, and then TFT came out.
Yeah. So, no.
Don't get me wrong, I still play the odd ARAM every now and then.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I know you've been playing the odd sort of game, but this is what I was also discussing. It's like a way of getting people to enjoy the League of Legends brand without needing to force people into one particular way of doing things. That's why I liked Dominion. I think that's why people liked Nexus Blitz, the sort of other game mode that they had that was on the Twisted Tree Line map, but it would then have random events every 3 minutes.
Didn't they have one where you're basically all against all floor?
It was all in one as well.
They did have that weird.
Because we had the 5 Heimerdinger map thing. That was.
What game mode was that?
Then we had Hexakill for a little bit.
Yeah, they used to do a thing, didn't they, in the launch that was like a featured game mode.
Yeah, there used to
Basically,
always
they
be like...
kept testing the water. They keep testing the water with different game modes once in a while. Like,
Yeah.
let's see if this works. If it's popular, then it stays. If it's not popular, then we get rid of it. Like what happens to Dominion?
Yeah, it can be like that. Yeah, there's sort of
Crossfire. You had Crossfire. You had... Crossfire was the one with all the cooldowns.
Yeah.
It was just rapid fire.
And then you had the one where everyone was the same person.
Yeah, one for all.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I see, I'm going through people I know haven't played for a bit and just checking their profiles because I know they've still got it up for when that was the last time they played.
Yeah, I think we had a 5-hammering a fight. That was just turrets
Ultra
everywhere.
rapid fire mode.
Hexakill was a 6-on-6 mode, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Hexakill
Yes.
was 6 and 6.
And then
That lasted
what else
about
did
3
they
weeks.
have? Oh yeah, there was one. Definitely not Dominion. The mode that they then brought out after Dominion had been removed.
It was Dominion that like the capture the flag one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kept to the
I was
point.
saying, whatever happened to that? Why did they remove that? Because a lot of people still played it. To my knowledge.
It just wasn't.
It wouldn't have been hitting the threshold cap. Like, basically it wasn't worth running the service for it. So there was, like, it's not got enough popularity. So, like, we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah. It was the one that technically sort of got replaced by Ascension initially and then just, like, dropped completely. But, yeah, of all the different ways that people could play the game, this is the one that looks like it could sort of stay for a bit because of the popularity of the auto battler. So, yeah, it plays like all the rest. There's a drafting phase to choose your character, who will then be your initial character on your board that you can then place them on. You then have a character level, which determines how many other units you can place on your board at any one time, generally, because there's other stuff. We'll talk about that later.
We start off with the one dude, and then you build your army up bit by bit and level the army up from 3 tiers or whatever.
Yeah, gold, bronze, silver, gold, which is the general strength of the character. There's also rarity to characters, but they come in later on in the game. But everyone starts off on an even field initially by choosing one character from a pool of 10, I think it is, because everyone gets one character and then it sort of leaves a couple of others. And then
I think it's 2 spare.
Yeah. So that would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, 10 characters to choose. Then
it's like a rotation, like the free rotation. So yeah, it would make sense if we can.
Yeah. And then, same sort of thing as all the other auto battlers. You'll take on minions first, PvE fights, where you just try and gain a bit of,
Item or two.
Yeah. And sort of get your initial set of gold, try and purchase some characters, get some level up. And then after the end of that stage of 3 fights, you'll then start taking on other players. Randomly.
And with every, third battle, there's some kind of boss that isn't a person.
Yeah, it's because there's 6 stages in it. You'll do 3 people first, and then another draft, then 1 person, and then a PvE boss. And it is last man standing. So every fight you win, you deal damage to your opponent based on how many champions survived that encounter. And then, you just sort of keep going. Everyone starts with 100 health, and then once someone runs out of health, they're eliminated from the game. They can then continue watching if they want, or they can leave and find another match. Depends on how quickly you go out, really, or if you've got any other mates to watch, because this is also a game that uses the party mode system on LoL to a bit of an effect. So if you've got 8 people to play a game, you can just play an 8-person game. If not, you'll matchmake with other people who are just looking for a game.
Who are looking for a bit of fun.
Yep.
But yeah, if you've got, when some of us are left, we can help strategize a little bit from there, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of strategize if you want to try and get someone to win. If you're just looking there for the fun, you can just sit and just be stum and be a spectator, like I end up doing. Because I just like the fun of watching to see whether someone will make it.
Just because you never get... What was the highest place you've made so far?
Highest place I've made is 3rd.
I made second on my own.
Yeah, and then we had
suck with use. So I was 7th each time. That was horrible. It's like least I wasn't. I've never been out last
Yeah.
or first or whatever.
I've
No.
been out first.
Oh, how does that feel?
Terrible.
I've been 7th like 6 times, but basically I'm not getting my head around the mechanics properly anyway. Because it's a lot of it's luck, it's slash strategy.
Yeah. But this is what was mentioned before. This plays no differently to any other battle royale game, and I don't even mean any other auto chess. I mean the concept of battle royale. You don't get everything you want every time. You have to scavenge. You have to find things. You have to change your strategy as you go along, and there is going to be a time that you're just going to get absolutely destroyed. It's just how it is. I mean, honestly, there was a couple of games that I was playing last night before we recorded this. I seem to have a massive early game strength, and I just drop off on the the late game every time, and that is sort of because of my reluctance to adapt to strategy.
It's also due to the look of the cards and whatnot, and who you have. I tried to do the team. Last few games, I've been trying to do the team comp thing where you get the bonuses.
Yeah,
but it's not working.
They're still important though.
Yeah, they are important. Look at my Assassin Brawler thing we just had in the game just before we started recording.
Yeah, and it was only because of some slight tweaks into what Steph's opponent had.
He built almost identical as well.
Yeah. Just to also take onto that though, it's like there's bits that you can get screwed over with, like I do on multiple occasions. So we're talking about reluctance to adapt to strategy. The shop only has a certain amount of characters in it at a time. And I don't just mean like the 5, so the 5 or 6 you get to choose from each time. I mean the shop itself only stocks a certain amount of each character at a time. And that's that's where sort of having to look at opponents' layouts are. Because if both of you are attempting to try and get a gold Nidalee, for example, and you've both got the share of the pool, neither of you are going to get it. So it's that sort of adaptation that needs to sort of be done. And
I think though when you rank it up, it puts the 2 that fused into the 1 back into the shop.
Yeah. And then sort of any that you sell end up back in the shop and all.
Yeah.
So
I can't seem to. Yeah, I rarely get gold. I get 1 or 2 gold early on, and then it's just done.
That's because gold is ultimately rare. That's the thing. That's it. They have their own rarity.
Misfortune,
Swain,
Tarfus, Swain, Yasu. They're all gold, I believe.
Yeah, they're not meant to be.
And I don't mean just gold as in Yasu. I mean gold as in tier 3.
Oh, tier.
Oh.
I didn't expect to pull like 10 Yasus out.
Yeah. Then again, I'm looking to pull out 10 Warwicks, so that's
Well, Warwick's quite common. Warwick seems to be common.
It's common.
Yeah.
But there's a finite amount of Warwicks.
I tend to find Tristanas tend to be common.
Mm-hmm. And Tristanas also tend to be nabbed.
Yes.
So, especially with that other one that you had we were against. The Tristana with the burn attack speed.
Yeah, the attack speed healing to that. But then I've built Lucian that way before and came second again.
So there's definitely certain items that seem to... Certain characters with certain items.
The other thing we also need to find out is what's their main damage, because we seem to realise Garen. I'm assuming Garen's all. I'm assuming all the characters are the way they're meant to be, physicals or magic damage.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's items that are attached to characters and it's retarded.
It doesn't make sense. Like I had an AD carry with an initially large rod. I'm slightly going, what? Why?
It's like I said to you before, it's one of them characters you want to sell just for the item.
Yeah.
When you go to that pick thing in the middle, if you can see someone who'll get you gold, go for it. Or who will help you rank up one of your characters, go for it. But if you can't see one of them, you're going for items.
Yeah. You're looking
And
for an
then-
item that you can then just mix into something. That's why a lot of people just in the later game start picking up the spatulas, because
You do know in every pickup, everyone went straight for that, right?
yeah,
The spatula's the most broken. Well,
it's not
kind of.
well, it's not broken.
It's not the
It's
broken.
it's purely a
the
strategy.
more.
Well, if you want certain
It's the
types and
item
stuff.
that gives you the more balance of everyone.
Yeah, it
Well,
gives you
also,
the
if you needed
flexibility
an
for something
extra-
you don't need.
Also, if you needed like an extra glacier or whatnot, it can turn a character into that.
Yeah, that's exactly the point of the item, is if you need, let's say you're one off a composition that you need or like a bonus, you can get it provided you have the other item.
I love. Have you ever just read what the spatula does on its own?
It says it does nothing except for
It,
combined with
it's
some other stuff.
all it says. It must do something.
Yeah.
Well,
That's all it says. It must do. This must do something.
the one I found a bit strange with the spatula, in specifically, is the Negatron cloak and spatula put together.
Mm.
One way makes Hurricane, another way makes an assassin, or something daft.
No, I don't get how you've seen it, because I'm looking at that page right now, and you're not. What you're saying there is wrong. The cloak and the spatula just makes the hurricane.
I'm sure I saw it making two separate things.
So anyway, yeah, we've been having fun with it. Certainly looking at getting more games going, and that sort of goes back to what we were talking about in the original warm-up of this podcast episode, in talking about us doing a lot more Teamfight Tactics stuff. And we don't want to be wasting it under the Play Session brand of videos if there's other games we want to play as well as Teamfight Tactics, but, you know, so we're probably going to try and see what we can do about basically placing somewhere in the schedule for more Teamfight Tactics, or sort of sessions where we play one particular game a lot video series. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And with that, unless anyone else has got anything to talk about for Teamfight Tactics.
Well, you've still got. I don't think we've really discussed that much the bonuses you get with the characters. Each character comes with
An
like,
origin
say,
and a class.
Yeah, an origin and a class. Some have two classes,
Like Cannon.
like Kennen, Swain, and I think
Cannon's
there's
a
a few more
Yordle
that I can't remember.
assassin ninja?
He's a Yordle Ninja Elementalist,
Then you got Na.
which is
Who's
a
a
wild
Yordle
brawler
wild.
shapeshifter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's plenty, and that's sort of the thing on that, because that's one way of sort of being able to fight in matches. If you're not just able to just spam gold characters, if you can get yourself a good composition as well, it can help you out until getting gold characters. Because if you can hit a composition and golds, you've pretty much got the game won. I say pretty much. Because if you mirror match with someone, sometimes you're lucky. I mean, there are some bugs with TFT. You know, there's some bits of like problems. You know, where
Like that happens to that Cho'Gath. It was just stupid.
yeah,
It
derping out
waddled around.
Cho'Gath,
I
having
think
hits taken on it.
and there's times where the character just freezes for no reason. If it's being stunned, there should be a way to see it's being stunned more than it's just stood there. Because it just being stood there just looks like it's derped out and the AI's gone wrong.
Yeah.
It's like it's because a lot of the time it's facing the wrong way as well. So it's like, oh, it's not realizing it's there. The AI is only looking forward. So the guy who's behind him kicking his head in, he's not realised.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that can be a problem. But that being said, it's a beta, and if they're keeping it going, probably expect some more games going forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we may even try the other auto battlers, but you know,
I'm not playing Dota.
I'm not playing Dota, but I could still play Underlords.
Mm.
I mean, to be honest, at that point, there's no need. If Underlords is basically Dota, but you know, sort of unmodded, then so be it. But yeah, with that, we're gonna go and breeze through some news
News time.
to go through near the end of the
Breeze through news, I know, is it?
yeah.
Breeze through news.
Yeah, because we spent, I guess, nearly 40 minutes talking about about Teamfight Tactics. I mean, granted, no one will hear that, or at least not about 5-10 minutes of it anyway. But yeah, let's move on. So we got a quick one, because for some reason Ubisoft decide they don't want to put out news about stuff that they announced in E3 until, 2 days ago.
Oh, The Division.
Yeah, the Division movie with Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes?
We forgot about your buddy system you now get with this TFT.
Oh, the little guys.
The Little Legend.
Yeah, your little buddies.
Yeah, they're screen dressing.
Yeah. By the way, leveling it up, you have to get another one of them.
Oh, also, they actually follow you around our rooms.
Yeah, they follow you in our room. They're pretty cool.
And they do little dances and stuff in our rooms when you fight, when you win. But yeah, it's kind of like it's more window dressing, like in WoW and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, speaking of window dressing, because, you decide, Jake Gyllenhaal's someone to throw into what is most likely going to be a pretty bog standard Division film.
I think Division
to go with their Assassin's Creed film.
To see Assassin's Creed, and I think these would be a lot better as a TV program.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, to be honest, a lot of the time though, they're trying to put all this lore into a film that they didn't even bother giving it the time of day of in the game itself.
The actual game.
I mean, all this shit about the Animus and Ancestry and stuff like that, and what they did with, oh god, who was his name? Fassbender, was it? Michael Fassbender was in Assassin's Creed, and why? Did it matter in the game series? No, because you play faceless protagonist X, who.
It's like in Division. You play a random Division agent.
No, but no, it's well, I say that, but it's worse in Assassin's Creed because the person doesn't even have any sort of thing. You don't see the person. I mean, they've finally got back into it with Assassin's Creed recently. They've got a new main character who is an Abstergo employee who learns too much while she went rogue and took a portable Animus with her. So now she's being hunted down by the Templars that she was working for. Okay. But she's got a character. She's got ambition. She's got drive. She's got personality and stuff going on. The older games, you didn't even have a face.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm kind of reading the TFT's development.
Focus.
Things. Sorry. I just got caught in that. Oh, what about the film, right?
The Division thing that you posted.
Yeah, again, they're doing it with Netflix. I think they've done it slightly better that way. Netflix hopefully keep it reined in. Give it something it's not got.
Well, it's going to need to, because Netflix recently has all been on the idea of if something is not looking like it's going to get any sort of traction whatsoever, it'll be gone.
True.
There are popular, or what people are calling popular Netflix shows, just getting cancelled after a series.
Oh yeah, and a lot of it's caused up fronts and all the rest of it, and they're like, yeah, people are watching it, but not enough for us to say, yeah, we'll keep it. But it's like, well, you've got thousands and thousands, you've got like a million, good few millions of people complaining you're getting rid of this, and they're like, yeah, but it's not something, they've watched it once and that'll be it.
A lot of that is that bandwagon outrage, though. Because there'll have been a few people. Let's take into example Santa Clarita Diet, a show about a loving couple whose wife becomes a zombie.
Yeah, she becomes an undead by an ancient disease.
Yeah,
that turns out to be a spider thing.
Yeah, and so like I say, it's only brief bits, but we're talking about it, and people were saying that it popped up every now and again, and it always appeared on those little gossipy showbiz sites of like, oh, here's what to expect in the next series of Santa Clarita Diet. But did I know anyone who watched it? Absolutely fucking not. Yeah, apparently it got cancelled, and everyone's all popped out of the woodwork going, oh, save my show.
It was horrible.
Maybe if you fucking talked about the show at the beginning.
I spoke to you about it, but I think I started watching it, and then it got cancelled just before I even finished watching the the 2 seasons of it that were on there.
Mm.
I watched the 2 seasons, and I was just like,
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It's like
I enjoyed Happy.
The Good Days.
Mm.
They've got rid of that. I enjoyed that, but I can't see many other people enjoying it. So I'm not going to sit there and complain about it.
So you
I
reckon the
enjoyed
problem
Happy.
is that, do you reckon the problem is that there's too much niche programming on Netflix then?
See, The Good Days was aimed at. To me, it was aimed at Americans that came from Mexico and shit like that, because it was all about a Mexican family that moved over who immigrated to America and tried living their life, and they have a landlord that's basically an idiot who's basically been giving them the same rent since they moved there, and it's like ridiculously low.
Right.
But now they've got rid of that. You know the comedian, like Ingress? I don't know. He always does that. Yeah. They've made a show about him now. He's got his own show
Oh,
where he's a history teacher.
Oh, the fluffy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr.
Mr. Iglesias.
Yes, because that's his show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's about him being a history teacher. And he goes, look, and in the first episode, he sits there and goes, look, what did these people have an issue with? They all had powdered wigs, and look, we had really good hair fashion, and then we're back to that. And then he's like Donald Trump's head just stuck on the end of it.
Oh, God. Just massive. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Ubisoft needs to pick a lane. They can't sort of keep fucking around.
Ubisoft needs to figure out some of their, especially, let's say, Division would never make a good. I don't think it's going to make a good film. A TV show, I think it would excel in. For a good few seasons, it would excel as a TV show.
I guess Division could act like any other sort of Survivor.
Yeah.
Sort of show, really, couldn't it?
But in a film, how are you going to get? See, what you could do is every season. Let's say there's how many factions are in Division? There's about 4, aren't they, in each one?
Yeah.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
So, for the first season, try only having one faction in it, and towards the end of the season, the new faction's coming in. And then that could be the next season, that new faction.
Yeah.
But I think it would become a little bit repetitive if it was a TV show, to be honest, now I think of that way.
Yeah, D.
It's the factions is what makes the story drive on, basically. It's a plot driven, so you first fight a faction that's quite easy that's just like street thugs, and then you switch to the flamethrower guys, and then you end up with military at the end.
Yeah.
In both games.
I mean, I guess what made it more interesting with Division 2, spoilers for those who still haven't got there yet, but you know what, tough luck. I like the fact with Division 2 that you had all these different factions. You had the Hydras, you had the Outcasts, you had the True Sons. And they were, effectively at that point, they were all pawns. And so were the Division for Black Tusk. A machination that was determined from the beginning of the game before you ended up in DC. Where the Shade Network goes down, this military force comes out of absolutely nowhere and destroys you. And I like, the fact that that sort of worked. And
they give the weapons to the hyenas.
Yeah.
They supplied the hyenas with weapons.
Yeah. But the whole idea was, though, to sort of cause strife between factions themselves and between Division and themselves, knowing that once the dust had settled, everyone would be weak and they could just take over. And see, the story that I actually want on there is, where the fuck is Aaron Keener? Who was at that point had the ability to recreate the virus and get rid of the 5% of the world that wasn't destroyed. Just fucked off.
Well, there's been a couple. I don't know if I found all the recordings yet, but there has been recordings for Alakina somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of Division is based on the recordings and the echoes.
It's the same with all these lore-heavy games, though, aren't they? They can't just seem to tell it in cutscenes anymore. It's always got to be off the beaten track.
It's like that cutscene with the first from the first wave There's a room in the middle of an apartment complex, and a news anchor's asking, well, what was it like to be activated for the first time? Realising that all this is going down. And
Oh no, you're on about the ones who come back. How was it being activated? Because they're the ones who got activated with New York.
yeah, they're from the first wave in New York.
Yeah, well, not the first wave, but they were part of a wave in New York, and they're talking about how, yeah, I had a family and all the rest of it, and I've been activated, and I've left all that, but I'm fighting for that now.
And then the other one.
This is something I actually like. What they've done with a lot of the Division agents, they've gave them that background where you can see why they're fighting for this.
Yeah.
They're not just, we've been activated, we have to go fight this. No, this woman's been activated, she has her own kids, she's left her husband to go fight this thing, knowing if she doesn't stop it there and then, they will be hurt.
Child. Yeah.
So she has made that choice of, I'm not going to sit by, I am going to take action, and I don't want them being affected by this. And I like the way they've seemed to have done that. Especially in this one. In number 1, they didn't seem to really do that much.
Number 2's got a lot more sort of storylines, like, especially because the time period's now progressed a lot more. It's a few months after the green poison incident. So the first one's, the green poison's just happened, now things are just settling in. And it's like, well, what's going on? What's happened? How has it progressed? How's the virus spread? How's what we did in number 1 affected number 2?
And a lot of that, it seems to be the old classic of everyone's lost communication with each other. So, it's your usual horror scenario, sort of, survival apocalypse sort of business. How do people in isolated areas try and connect together while still being in their isolated systems?
And the first one had a lot more to do with the rogue agents. This one, there isn't much thing. They've made it a lot more PvE. And you don't have to be in the Dark Zone, but you can be. So, you can still go rogue in the Dark Zone or whatnot, but you don't need to. Where the first one, you kind of had to do the Dark Zone for at least a while.
Well, Dark Zone, you got all your story out of the main game. You just, the Dark Zone was just...
The Dark Zone was just for gear.
Yeah, the Dark Zone was just a story beat to say what happened with Division agents from the first wave. Aaron Keener included. There was no story benefit from going into the Dark Zone.
So, I have one other question about this film. Seeing that we're actually going on about the game way too much about. Is this film going to be based on the first Division or the second?
We've received no information whatsoever. Everything that we got from about the Division has come straight from Ubisoft and explains nothing else. Actually, that being said, hold on. Here it is. Where a pandemic virus has contaminated cash on Black Friday, decimating New York City.
Yes, New York. So it's on New York.
Because if you look at the
look at the background where they're in.
That's the Empire State Building on the right, and that's the thingy on the left. That's New York.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all we're going to
get. In other words, if this film does well, Netflix will probably sign on for doing the Division 2 film.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I hope it does well, but I can't really see the way there was so much that happened in Division 1, even though you didn't really have much of a story
How
are they walking into this? Are they walking into this having to bring it all back up to line again and give people the courage to fight back, or are they just going in to kill everything?
But it could tell the story of the first wave.
True.
It could actually talk about the failed attempt to actually get everything going that precedes the events of the actual game.
That would be actually pretty good.
Like a pre-sequel. Sort of like what happened.
Pre-sequel to the game is the film. So in other words, what you have to tell everyone if they ever go, I want to try the Division, watch the film first. Why? Because it follows the film.
Basically, and then the plot twist near the end could be the Aaron Keenan section. Like, we actually find out about Aaron Keenan near the end of the Division film.
At the end of it might be the guy who betrayed the Division units at the end, betraying them there.
You see, I always like the sort of the Star Wars prequel trilogy idea of something. Introduce Keener early. You know he's going to do something. You just don't know what and when.
Because you know Keenan's up to some.
Well, that's the thing. You ultimately know Keener is the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's just exactly the same as Star Wars. You knew with Anakin Skywalker he was going to become Darth Vader. You just never knew
know how.
Yeah, you never knew what transpired to cause that to happen, and that is just as interesting as a storyline motive.
It's like I still haven't seen it yet.
But we kind of do know why he goes bad, because he does really mention it in number 1, doesn't he? When you're fighting him, he's arguing with you about, like, no, you should be on my side because they left us here. They've left us to do this. They sent us no other help.
But the problem with Keener is that it's also sort of brought out in his profile that while he was a good stock futures trader or whatever his civilian job is, he was also very analytical in what was going on, so had sort of sociopathic tendencies of over-analysing situations, and that's what sort of comes up with Keener, is that the guy has made a mountain out of a molehill from the situation he's been in. Granted, it's an unprecedented situation, but he's flipped. The situation's made him flip, but it was always there in his head in the first place.
So basically, let's say they were just outnumbered and you thought, fuck this, we're outnumbered. I'm joining them, bang, bang, them the dead, and I'm on your side.
Yeah. Well, he's gone on the idea of, right, some guys tried to eliminate the world. How am I supposed to save society? Wait, fuck it, society's not worth saving.
The whole thing of... But then he has a point. If you were an agent and you went into something like that and you've seen what the people are doing to themselves, well, to each other, with someone with that type of personality would lose the thing of why are we trying to save these people?
Yeah.
Fuck these people. Fuck them all. Let's just join our own band thing and slaughter them all. These people don't deserve to live for what they'll do to each other.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Shall we move on to something else?
Well, I'm going to say we're going to move on, and I think we might just do one more story before we wrap this up, because we're spending a lot of time talking about stuff, and saying we were breezing through stuff hasn't really gone well.
Well, we can breeze through the Pokemon story.
Well, let's breeze through the other two before we get to the last one then, quickly on this. Tim Sweeney, Epic Games, has apparently decided he wants to be the pariah in regards to the whole Epic Store exclusive thing, by him coming out and saying in a quote that, according to Polygon here, that exclusives are the only strategy to shake up PC gaming status quo.
It is. The thing Epic Games needs now is gift a friend.
A shopping cart. It needs a shopping cart to prevent fraud techniques happening. I mean, this is also in response to what GOG is doing with Galaxy 2.0, which is that GOG is going to put all launchers together in one unified launcher.
That would be pretty cool.
So the idea of an exclusive won't really hold much ground, because you're all going to be launching it through GOG and you can buy it from wherever the fuck you want anyway.
That would be kind of good. Because I've got 6 or 7 separate libraries now.
Well, you think of it this way. Did we all buy Division straight off Epic, or...?
Yeah.
I bought mine through Epic. Not Epic.
Okay. You got it through Ubisoft itself or Epic?
I bought it through Ubisoft on the 60% discount.
See, I got it... You see, when that discount happened, it was on Epic anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I did it was already 30%, like, Epic, and then there was an extra 20%.
You had the Uplay discount as well, the token.
I did the 100-point token thing to make it to 53%.
See, I had a Uplay... I had the Epic Game token thing still, so I used that on that.
Well, on Epic, I used my token for Heavy Rain.
But, yeah, I do agree. At the minute, nothing draws me to go into open the Epic Game Launcher all the time. Nothing. But I'm constantly opening Steam. I can message friends on Steam. Can we message people on Epic?
Nope.
So
you can see who's online.
You can see who's online.
There's a friends list, but nothing else.
I've also realised you don't need... Oh, you can send a chat, actually.
Oh, can you?
Yes, because I just sent one to you.
No, the other thing with the Epic is I open it to go and get the free game.
That's all I'm getting at the minute. But I've noticed it doesn't tell you when you're playing Division.
No, there's a lot of features that are lacking in the Epic Games Store, and turning around and going, we've got exclusives, isn't enough of a draw.
Yeah, that is the only thing they have at the minute. And the free games you get every, like, say, week. At this minute, it's week.
Yeah. Which, on that, the last, I love it. The last day of June came out in the last week of June.
Came out on the Thursday, didn't it? The 27th.
Yep. But
Overcooked comes out next month. On the 4th.
But it could be right. Yeah. Okay. Exclusives do need to, the strategy to shake up. But all you're actually doing there is shaking up stuff to make, things worse. It's not improving the situation. Steam don't give a shit about you, the cut. They've got 8 million sexual nudity fucking visual novel clones and Steam trading cards, scammy stuff that they don't need to reduce their prices to do anything anyway, because morons are flooding them with Steam Direct money. It's not going to change. All you're going to do is piss people off on the Steam platform for taking the games that they would actually want to play on Steam away from them.
I am still slightly concerned with prices, not just on Epic Store, as well on Steam. It's like, you're getting games, and I understand when you buy it from a store, it's going to cost you 60 odd quid, and stuff like that. But I still don't think when you're buying it downloaded, like the download copies, it's still not. It's like looking at the fucking PlayStation Store.
PlayStation is just an example of the worst of the situation,
Yeah.
where a digital version of one of their games is actually more expensive than a physical version.
Yeah. And to be honest, I find Epic Gaming and Steam aren't that far off from being that bad. They're just slightly under.
And that's the problem there, is because really for a PC market there isn't a physical version market anymore. It's either a digital download, or it's going into a shop and paying real money to buy a card that you then use as a code to download digitally anyway. So, we'll see how their shake-ups keep going, because it didn't work well for them last time. Right, next story, quick one. Eurogamer, Pokemon Sword and Shield dev addresses backlash in impassioned message to fans. Now, I was saying this pre-podcast with Steph that people going, not all Pokemon are in the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck off, get off your high horse. Now, I can kind of see where they're actually coming from in this, because I've read the article a little bit more, because it's saying that, you can't catch all the Pokemon of all the species in this game. Okay, granted.
You can't trade them neither.
Yeah, you can't trade them outside of that game. That's also the problem.
Or trade in from another game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's an isolated game. So it doesn't use the Pokemon bank structure and stuff that the other games have used. It doesn't use the time capsule system
I don't think
from
any of the Switch uses the Pokemon bank yet.
Yeah. So
I don't think they've moved it to the Switch.
Yeah. So it's just a thing. So basically, the Game Freak producer of the new Pokemon games, Junichi Masuda? Sorry. Junichi Masuda.
Masuda?
Yeah, Masuda. Masuda.
Oh yeah, I forget how they do their last name first. And
yeah, but so he's had to sort of come out and defend, sort of the decision that's on there, and has been pleading to players of the games that just to give him a thing, and to state that just because it's not happening here doesn't mean it's going to happen elsewhere. Now that also does seem like a little bit of carrot and stick mentality, because also the thing I was talking to Steph about was this, a lot of fans just constantly wanting the world.
The whole world. But it's like I said to you before, and I've read and it's not actually put it in this article at all, about the SD cartridges can fit so much more than what Nintendo are actually putting on them.
Yeah.
So that game where everyone wants the whole Pokemon world, they can get it in that.
It's also the fact that they just every so often just go, well, we had it on the SD, now here, have the exact same game.
Yeah, I am kind of waiting for well, look at it. They've basically remade Pokemon Yellow and gave it us back as Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah.
There's that one. So all we need now is a remake of Pokemon Gold and Silver.
What was Soul
Which
Silver?
they're then going to give us.
Silver got
What
Heart
was
Gold, Soul
and
Silver
Heart Gold?
already.
Yeah, but they need to do it again for the Switch.
Yeah.
But no, it's just basically like, it's just rehashing everything all over again.
There's only so far you can get with it, really, though, isn't there? So, we'll see how it goes. So, chances are these people who complain about it are still going to end up buying it anyway, aren't they? So,
well, it's like what they do with Black and White. Black and White, they just got bored and just made like 100 food. These Pokemon not resemble food. Come on, really?
I'm quite surprised we've not seen Pokemon that are just a plate with hands and legs. And they're now classing it as... It's now going to be classed as clay or porcelain Pokemon or some shit like that.
True. Right.
See, why did they do Fairy? Why? Clefairy is now a fairy type. Well, she wasn't in the first Pokemon, and why the fuck did she suddenly change now?
So more the fact that everything pretty much became dual type as well. So,
it's like Gyarados. In the original Pokemon, Gyarados used to be in one game he was Water Dragon, in another game he was Flying Dragon.
Yeah.
And then he's now back to Dragon Water.
Yeah, they don't.
And then I'm sure at one point they classed him as Dark for some reason.
Yeah.
It's the thing that they're trying to do around that is each region's got its own sort of whatever.
Yeah, but
they shouldn't have a fucking another Sun and Moon.
They shouldn't have another Gyarados. Like, oh look, there's a Gyarados that can fly in the sky. We call that a sea creature. We call that a sky creature.
Yeah.
Well, like what they did with the Vulpix. Sun and Moon did the whole...
Yeah, they did a low-end type.
That's a little bit more understandable. They were literally going, how would a Vulpix adapted in the world if they were on a mountain, a snowy mountain? They would have been ice types, not fire types. The same with Sandshrew. If he wasn't in a desert, but was in a mountain... It's basically put them in a mountain fucking snowy biome. And yeah, they would have become like fucking snowy rabbit things. Which it is true the way it is. It's like saying, see, the one I find a bit nicer is Executor. The reason Executors in Sun and Moon, it is Sun and Moon, isn't it? Yeah. Sun and Moon are bigger than natural ones is because of their climate they're in. They can grow bigger.
Yeah, I guess what you're trying to say is Gyarados in water is Gyarados in water wherever the location is.
Yeah. I can't see the Gyarados being able to... Oh, look, this Gyarados evolved on ground, so now it can fucking fly around like a giant space worm.
Well, it would have still came from a Magikarp at some point.
Yeah, well, Magikarps just flop and flail anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
But would you like to see that in the sky? Hey, look, it's a Magikarp. What is it doing? Flopping. Where is it? In the sky.
It casts Fly and it just lands on the floor.
It
doesn't actually attack the opponent, it just falls on the floor.
Yeah.
It'd be like the Pampot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The whale's trying to figure out what he is, and the Pampot's like, oh, not this again.
Yeah.
Right. So, moving on to the last story, because I'm still trying to keep flicking this on, and this is a tough one for those who like the Let's Players and YouTubers and their fans on stuff. The last thing they want is to know that, fans as they are, that one of them's died. What's even worse to know is the fact that they've died because they've took their own life, and that the last YouTube video they'll have watched was a video where they've pretty much stated out their intent to take their own life.
Yeah, because it's a video of him just walking in it, saying, I'm sorry, I've become what I've always not
hated.
What I've always hated. Yeah, I kind of watched a bit of that just before this.
Yeah,
Because
so
I
this
have
is
never
the
heard of the guy before, so.
yes, this is the YouTuber Atika, real name Desmond Amofa. Has been around, on YouTube for quite a few years, specialised in Nintendo coverage and games. Would have probably been part of that Nintendo streamer plan that they had that one time. Yeah, had shown concern to his YouTube fans by posting a video called "I'm Sorry," like Steph said. Sort of highlighting mental health issues and suicidal tendencies. He went missing just over a week ago, and NYPD officers earlier on, or sort of mid to late last week, confirmed that they found a body and it was that of Atika. So, yeah, that's ended up putting a sort of a bit of a downer on maybe a reinforcement of the necessity of mental health support.
The video as well with him going on is about 8 minutes,
So, spent a lot of time walking around New York expressing these emotions and thoughts. And out there in New York, or sort of in the cities, you say something like that, people wouldn't even do a second glance.
Well, if you go the way he was walking, he was near the harbours. He was near the harbour and.
So sort of Manhattan Island, sort of.
Yeah. From the video where you can see the background and that, he looks like he's in one of the containers areas, almost.
So is it a dockyard sort of place?
It kind of looks like like a cargo centre, not cargo centre for us, but not like near the hospital. A bit like an American version of that, where all like the big building construction firms and shit like that are.
And it's some trouble. I mean, that's something that we'll have to sort of look at as being budding YouTubers ourselves, content creators, as you will. Sort of the need to sort of keep things going. I think the thing that we've got on this is that we're a group of people who can sort of we can talk to each other as well as sort of consider maybe talking to an outer sort of group of people.
Yes and no on that one.
I know you say okay, so you say yes and no on that, but we all have our stuff that we're comfortable of talking about, and I know that we have our stuff that we're not. Let's just say there's, I don't want to specify to particular people at the moment because at the end of the day this is still going out on the internet and it's up to people themselves whether they want to express that. But certainly there is stuff about between our group there is stuff about personal issues, gender discussion, mental health between the group, and I'm saying I don't want to point out any one person in particular because it's for them to say.
Yeah.
But I still feel that a lot of time, okay, they might not be the most comfortable of discussions, but the talk is still there.
It's tricky anyway. Mental health's a bitch.
Yeah, and it sort of is. But a lot of the part of that comes to, I guess, the ability to actually. I think it's one big step, letting someone know what has happened, or sort of the feelings that are going through, and getting there, and that's sort of the hurdle. It seems that in this case with Atika, it's not been the hurdle that's been able to have been managed, and now it's led to, an unfortunate death, another statistic of suicide through mental health. So, it's something to sort of consider, and around the world, there are the mental health charities for the UK specifically, Samaritans, in terms of the sort of suicide prevention. Around other countries they have their own sort of thing, but yeah, it sucks.
I could probably do a whole thing on just mental health. By the way, it's something we could talk about that for days.
Yeah, I think the main thing is on it is that it doesn't need to. I guess like with gender studies and stuff like that.
Sorry.
So yeah, the thing with gender studies on that is it needs to not be taboo anymore on all sides. And I say that again on there, and I sound like fucking Donald Trump, and it fucking annoys me that's the case. But people shouldn't stop others from being able to talk about something.
Ryan Trump.
Fuck that
Ryan
shit.
Trump.
No, it's not. Well, it's the mixture of gender stuff and mental health are seen as together but separate because it's still meant to be separate. It's in the more current papers.
Yeah, but I mean, I certainly mean on the fact that yes, people need an outlet to be able to say something. On the other side, there's also needs to be understood that there are going to be people who are just not going to be there to talk, and I don't mean that on the side of like this sort of this activism that's coming along.
It's knowing who can handle it and who can't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm familiar with it, and I have to deal with it constantly. But some people reel off the walls with it, and other people it's just like, You have to find how far to push someone. What is the fine line when you're trying to deal with it yourself? It's like trying to help someone with a mental health that's got their own mental health going on at the same time. It can synergize and go really well and you help each other, or you both go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It can go both ways.
But I guess, yeah, and I understand on that. I feel that the problem is on there is that there's the other way of going that apparently there'll be some cases, and I'm sort of trying to be cautious of how I'm saying this. There are people with sort of mental health concerns who decide at that point that no one else knows what they're, and as I say, it's a fucking touchy subject here, that those who don't have the similar mental health condition they have doesn't know and therefore can't help them in any way, shape or form.
Yeah.
And to that I say, what is a psychiatrist or a psychologist? Because you should be listening to them. They're the ones who are supposed to be providing the thing. They've studied all this and sort of trying to think. Are you saying at that point that the psychiatrist/psychologist also has what you have?
People though that find psychiatrists and that to be a bit heartless. Don't get me wrong, they kind of have to be in their type of job because you're listening to everyone's issues.
Well, they can't get emotionally attached.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you're getting your heartstrings pulled by these people, you're going down with them.
Yeah. It's also been. It's like they look at the thingy. I've been I got a thing put in at Christmas. I've still not heard anything back from it because the waiting list is so retarded.
I guess that's also because of the point that we've now got to a point where mental health isn't a stigma now. It actually turns out that
it just doesn't work.
It's not that. It's just more the fact of the idea of a normal mind is now the minority.
Oh, there's no such thing. It's like a normal person. There's no such thing.
But yeah, before we get too much into a downer of that, I think we better get to the wrap up, haven't we? So we'll get that. We'll get that going. Don't know why you're apologising. It's just the whole situation. Like I say, it sucks, but be there for each other. It's a simple thing. So yeah, we'll get to the wrap up. If you sort of were intrigued with what you listened to, I would say if you enjoyed what you've listened to, but maybe that's a sort of a different term, then please do like, share, subscribe, click the bell, comment, engage, let people know what's going on, share, and keep an eye out on all the stuff that's coming up on the channel. Again, we've got our new modified schedule now, which is Mondays is Going Rogue, Tuesdays podcast, Wednesdays currently every other Wednesday is Shattered Reflections, but we're going to give you advance warning now, there isn't going to be one this week, as part of the overlying things of us being busy and shit going down. We're going to give it a month break. We'll come back 2 weeks time. We'll get that up on the thing. Thursdays currently doesn't have anything in it, but that might be the place where the Teamfight Tactics videos goes.
I might be doing some LOL videos at this rate.
Yeah.
Just some ARAMs and shit like that as well, like, added into it. Just make it like a bit of a LOL session, I think.
Yeah.
But
So,
if
yeah.
there's
Riot
enough of us,
session.
we can always make a thingy team as well. If they can get enough of us, and we actually are playing LoL again, we did the challenges and stuff. We made our own custom things.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
That's something to think of.
Do you mean like catch the Teemo stuff? Where it was one Teemo versus 3 other people and shit like that. It's like, bring it, bitches!
Yeah, we could do shit like that. But yeah, so where else are we on there?
Like, subscribe and whatnot.
Subscribe and hit the.
I was in the middle of the. I was in the middle of the schedule, wasn't I?
Oh yeah, in the middle of the schedule.
Friday, I think.
Yeah. Friday, War Table. Steve's still got that XCOM, and you know, fingers crossed, his save game doesn't just go.
We can only hope I'll go.
And we'll just see what happens there. Fridays, Saturdays, play sessions / SIDS.
Yep.
Because you know that'll happen, and then Sundays, sibling rivalry. More Pokemon Bingo currently at the moment.
I'd like to also put in, dual play will come at some point. We have episodes recorded. We just need to finish doing the whole thing. For we have it will come sooner or later. I am guaranteeing this.
The Duke Nukem Forever of video series. You'll find out next week that what'll have happened is Steph and Darius will have re-recorded it in a new capture engine or something. It'll keep going, and then it'll get bought by Gearbox.
Sounds about right.
So yeah, but there, straight from the horse's mouth, dual play is coming.
At some point.
If any of our listeners watch any YouTubers from the Hermitcraft, it's just a slower Survivor. I can't even say it properly.
Slow survival.
No, the YouTubers I watch, Grian, Munbo, and Iskow make their own shop on the servers they play, and they've called it what's the name for a desert? It starts with
Sahara, by any
Sahara.
chance?
Yes, they've named it Sahara, because we sell everything from. They wanted to take the piss out of Amazon, because Amazon's A to Z. They called it Sahara, and they sell everything from S to S.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fair enough. Right,
and they sell sand!
Jesus. Right, let's get this sorted. So, before Steph dies, cheers, Steph.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers, D.
Mm-hmm.
And until next week, please look out for each other.
Just kill each other with Rumbas. That's all I'm asking.
Is Rumba a type of dance?
No, that's Zumba.
Yeah. The Rumbas, the little robot hoovers.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Death by Hoover.
Ryan gets to kill people with a game. I want to see people do it in real life.
Oh, well, let's sweep this up. Right, see you next time. Bye.
Later.